My name is Patricia McPherson. Thank you for coming to sit with me today so we can have this little chat. My first question is, did anybody watch The Biggest Loser?
No.
No.
I did.
I saw it.
I followed The Biggest Loser, and while I think that losing weight, if you're overweight, is important because you want to prevent certain diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, anything that will have a negative effect, then you want to lose the weight. But I do believe, based on the finale of that show, when I saw Rachel Frankenstein, that she didn't look healthy. She had come from 260 to 105, but she looked very sick. She didn't look healthy. My opinion, and a lot of other people, you've seen it on the media, said that she is too thin. She lost too much weight. How does she feel about that? She hasn't said anything. Now,
How long did it take her to lose that weight?
7 months.
it took them 7 months.
I should congratulate her.
Exactly.
She feels better now.
Yeah, I
I
somehow
think that's a
find
healthy weight. Well, how much did she lose in 7 months?
150.
Okay, that's, for 7 months, that's a lot.
Yep.
that's a lot of weight.
That's a lot.
Because prior to the finale,
She's sexy now.
no, she looked sick.
She did it for.
She looked anorexic.
What's her name so I can look her up now?
Rachel Frankenstein or Frankenstein.
Oh man, I need my average one.
So then do we only care about the mental, the physical health of people and not more so much
But
the mental
right, I think that because she started gaining weight, because she used to be a swimmer, she used to compete, and she started gaining weight when her parents split, and she thought that she was, she was part of the problem, and the fact that she stopped swimming, that's why her dad left, and so she used food to comfort herself. And all the other contestants on there had some kind of psychological issue or the other, why they gained so much weight. But is it really an appropriate thing to do just because you feel sad or you feel depressed? You just turn to food.
Oh,
I mean, I like food.
I don't know if it's a matter of appropriate or inappropriate. I think it's a matter of someone being mentally healthy enough to separate their emotions from food. I mean, if someone isn't mentally healthy enough to look at something and say, okay, well, this isn't my fault, it makes me sad, but, I'll deal with the grief, then you can't really say,
Well, a lot of people are not prone to be thin.
I know, me.
A lot of people have family trait where they're prone to be bigger body, but being big doesn't necessarily mean that you're overweight. But if you exercise, and a lot of people go to the gym and they go to all these things, but one of the main things that people like me, for example, exercise, is to keep my limbs free. Not because I used to exercise all the time. I used to walk all the time, and then after my surgery, I got lazy and sat on the couch a lot. I wasn't depressed, but I did put on some weight because I wasn't exercising like I used to.
walk where? From upstairs to
In the neighborhood. So there are lots of gym, and a lot of people start going to the gym, and lots of people go walk in their neighborhoods, and people exercise, but they don't change their diet. And so they're exercising, they're going to the gym every day, 5 days a week, they go to the gym, but they still have to weight off.
When you say change your diet, what do you mean? Do you mean portion control, or do you mean the type of things you eat, because I'm a firm believer in the fact that so long as you exercise, you can pretty much eat whatever you want, just not in overabundance.
Portion control is a big factor because in Europe, the size plates that they serve, food that they serve at the restaurant is way smaller than what we eat here in America.
Funny story.
Would that be equivalent to a saucer, or how do you?
No, a side plate.
Put it this. Come on, like when we eat here, when we take out food for ourselves, is it anything as much as we get when we go to a restaurant? Honestly.
We get a lot of food at the restaurant.
Exactly. The stuff that we take out for ourselves at home is like nowhere near what they give us at a restaurant.
Right, but they're obligated to give you your money's worth.
Yes.
If they only gave
See,
you.
I think that's the problem though, because how do you qualify or quantify what's your money's worth? I mean, seriously.
A lot.
No, not necessarily. Like, for instance, we
But
spend-
it could be quality instead of quantity.
Time up.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Well, what I'm saying is, like what you say with portion control, right?
Yeah.
So we got a whole bunch of new pastries, new food in general, at that place that I work, Starbucks, whatever. But everybody's complaining that everything is smaller.
Well, I mean, I think that they'll complain that it's smaller until it's adjusted accordingly.
But they don't realize that everything has more caloric value now, even though it's smaller, because everything is made with real butter. So everybody's ordering 2 of everything.
Of everything. And
because
yes.
they feel like that's the only way that they're either going to get their money's worth or get what. But they're putting more calories in their body simply because they're used to eating so much more. So I think it has to be like a complete switch in culture rather than like individual. It has to be a whole cultural shift in terms of
Because
health
Mrs. Obama have this thing out in the schools where children should eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's all well and good. But there are people who cannot afford, not just afford it, but people that eat salad, only salad and just fresh fruit and vegetable, put on weight.
Yeah.
Because everybody's body type is very
Different.
different. And if your body type is different, you have to know your body type. You have to know your measurements, know what your body fat is supposed to be based on as the individual person. So you don't just take the outside and what this person has cannot necessarily work for you. It has to be tailored towards you. And so I strongly believe that in this country, if we start doing portion control, especially with children, we won't have so much obese children as we have in today's society. And it's sad to say, but it is. Thank you all for coming. Have a good evening. Hope you learned something.
Oh, this was a spirited discussion.